Hello, everyone. This is Bruce Villarreal with Bruce Talks Podcast and Bruce Talks Podcast en Español. I want to welcome you to my home, to your home, which is Bruce Talks Podcast and Bruce Talks Podcast en Español. We have prepared a very special episode and program for you this day with a very special topic that I'm going to share with you in a moment. But if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel. I want to invite you to subscribe, like, share, and also comment on what you've taken away. If this has been of value to you, please share with your loved ones and business partners if you have found something of value to share with them today. But I want to thank you for connecting to Bruce Talks Podcast, speaker, businessman, and transformer of life. This is Bruce Villarreal, and I'm so excited to connect with you. Today we have a very special topic. You know, we always learn from someone or everyone. Everybody has a story, and today I want to share a very special topic, which is don't forget your toolbox, success tips to never forget. Don't forget your toolbox, success tips to never forget. And if you notice, I have one of my friends here, to my left, Mr. Daniel Esquivel Jr., a gentleman that I met several years back, probably about 10 to 15 years at a networking event. So just so you know, networking works. Networking works. And I met him back in the day in a networking event. They were launching a restaurant. And it's interesting how people can be part of your life, even on a networking event, and then become very good friends. And we've been, in contact on and off throughout the years, but we've both seen our different processes of life. And remember, life is life, ladies and gentlemen, and you will go through life, the good stuff and not so great stuff. But it's awesome to connect with someone and see their progress, their challenges, and that we're still friends to this day. But again, I want to honor him with this program because he shared part of his story. And I said, hey, people need to hear this. And he was telling me about a story when he was 18 years of age in 1976, back in the day. And he went to the high school, which is El Paso High School. I think it's 100-year. It's a Centennial High School, and their emblem is the Tigers. So go Tigers. So for any people from El Paso High, so you guys can research this school. It's an amazing school with great architecture. But he was telling me his story about don't forget your toolbox. And we're talking about our life as youngsters. And he was telling me how it is that in 1976, when he was 18 years of age, he lived a special story that I think has a lot of relevance, and that I'm going to talk about. If you guys notice, to my right, I have Skills USA, which back in the day, which was VICA, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them, how it has evolved from VICA and what it means. But basically, VICA is Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. So I want to make a special plug to them because I started researching them, and I'm going to talk about their history. But they've been around since in the 1960s, and but Mr. Daniel Esquivel Jr., when he was 18 years of age, he was in the auto repair division with his school. So there's this organization. Basically, they compete on a local, regional, and national level, and it's it's an interesting club for people in middle school, also in high school, and in college, and then people who are alumni or people who have obviously graduated from college. And then also business partners who are associated and affiliated with this organization to support it. And I'll talk more about them. But what happened is that Mr. Daniel Esquivel Jr. at the time of 18 years of age, so if many of you can recall, hey, when you were like 18 years of age, either as a new college student or a high school graduate, but he was competing where, he was part of the auto body repair, and, he was a pro at this. So on a local level, he won first place, which is pretty awesome, and I called him just to recap on the story. So I got, my facts right with him, but he told me that on a local level, he had won first place. But then on a national level, he ended up winning second place. Now there's a story behind this, because what happened and why did he win second place, and why is it that he placed at all? And why is it that he didn't win first place? So let's get into the story. So he was telling me that when he was traveling from El Paso to Houston, Texas, so yes, we can imagine 1976, He went into the competition, but when he was already in the competition, he had noticed that he had forgot his toolbox. That's why the topic of today's story or topic is don't forget your toolbox, success tips to never forget. So when it was his time for him to compete. Um, Guess what? He didn't have his toolbox, and he couldn't go back to the bus to get that toolbox. So what did he do? Well, he had to um, ask for people's help to let him borrow some tools. Some people cooperated and let him borrow some tools. There were some tools that he needed, and he had to create his own tools. And he, he didn't give up. He participated because he could have just said, "Hey, you know what? I don't have my toolbox. I'm going to quit and not participate." And he could have not even placed and given up in that challenge. And guess what? He even created his own tool. So what was interesting is that he had to ask for help to. Well, number one, he participated. He didn't, say, "Okay, I don't have my toolbox, so I'm going to quit." No, he participated. Number two, he asked for help to borrow tools from other people. So he played the game, number one. Number two, he asked for help from other people with tools. And number three, he had to be creative and create a special tool out of a hanger, to compete. And he won. See, he placed second place. So I'm going to go over his first 4 success tips. Number one, he worked with what he had and he played the game. So most of us in life and in business, sometimes we're not going to have all the tools that we need. We might not even have a toolbox. He had the toolbox put on the bus. Maybe you forgot you have the toolbox. Maybe in your despair or wanted to kick off, you don't have the toolbox, but he played the game. So even if you don't have the toolbox in life or in business, play the game with what you have. So I would say number one is play the game. Go all in with what you have. And it might be that you don't have nothing, but the will or desire to win and compete or play the game. Number two, what he did do is he asked for help. He asked to borrow tools from other people. And out of that, he kind of created his imaginary toolbox per se. And so he did ask for help. So don't be so prideful that you won't ask for help. And number three, he had to be creative. And he said he created a special tool out of a hanger in this auto body repair competition. And because he didn't give up, he placed second place, which is pretty awesome because he didn't win first place. He would have won first place. He would have had his toolbox and all his tools, but he didn't give up. He still competed. He asked for help. He was also creative, created his own tool, and he didn't give up. And even though he wasn't sure if he was going to win or even place, but surprisingly enough, because he applied these 4 concepts, he won second place. So I think that was pretty awesome on his behalf. And after that, he was telling me that at the age of 21, he created his own custom body shop. It was a hot rod. It was Dan's Rod and Custom Body Shop. And at the age of 21, and then many years later, as a successful businessman and entrepreneur in this area, he sold that body shop, which is very interesting. And then after that, he became an entrepreneur. He endeavored in real estate, investing, and now he's a photographer, and he's also a bodyguard. And so Dan, that was in when he was 18 years of age. I met him probably in his 40s or late 40s. And he's now 63 years of age. He's a great photographer, a great human being. He's been a great inspiration for me of overcoming health issues, losing a family or going through divorce, and then picking himself back up, which I'm going to talk about in a moment at the end. But this is his 4 tips. So if you want to write this down, tip number 1 is that don't forget the toolbox. But if you forget the toolbox, like what happened to him, his success tips were: number 1, play the game, go all in with what you have. Number 2, he asked for help. He borrowed other people's tools. So you can, again, borrow other people's resources. Like they say, use other people's money. And I'm talking about if it's on a business plan, you don't have to have it all. You don't have to have all the resources. You can connect with other people. Number three, get creative. So he got creative. He had to create his own tool. So what resources do you have to be creative to launch your business or to take the next step in your personal life and achieve your dreams or in the direction of your dreams or to pick yourself back up? So be creative. What do you got to be creative? And number four, never ever give up. I thought that was awesome. But that was his formula when he was competing with VICA at the time, Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. So I want to make a plug to them, and I'm going to be doing business with them. In other words, I'm going to partner up with them because I thought the organization is pretty amazing, which I'm going to share with you. And again, this is a trade school or a trade club where they're pushing vocational skills, which are many. But the thing is that if you're in any part of the world, there has to be other vocational clubs or something similar. Now you can create something similar to this or research them. If you're not here in the United States or any part of the world, there has to be something. And if not, again, you can create it. But I thought it was very interesting. So you can use that as a reference point. And if you're here local, you're a businessman, businesswoman, you can partner up with them to support them. And also if you're in middle school, high school, or college, find a way to affiliate with them, because this was Daniel Esquivel's success story. This is where his story came out, is don't forget your toolbox, success tips to never forget. But let me talk a little bit about VICA. So basically, this organization was founded in 1965. It's over 59 years ago. It's about to have their 60th year anniversary. Their headquarters is in Leesburg, Virginia. Their current membership is 434,141. This was in 2020. So I'm sure that the membership is higher than that. And now it's called Skills USA. So it went from VICA, being Vocational Industrial Schools of America, and now it's Skills USA. It became VICA, and you can see the wordings here, to my right. That's why I posted them, kind of so you see the evolution of that organization. But what I thought was interesting is that it mentions here that in 1975, so they started in 1965, and 10 years later, they got to the 1 million member in the organization. So it grew by 1 million people in membership in a matter of 10 years, which is pretty awesome. So that pretty much means they're growing by at a rate of $100,000 people per year, which is amazing. And it says here, on VICA's 10th year anniversary in 1975, the organization inducted its 1 millionth member. 3 years later, VICA saw the start of the construction of its National Leadership Center. So in Leesburg, Virginia. But some interesting points on Skills USA now, which used to be VICA. It basically, like you already know, it's close to 500,000 members, or possibly more at this point. They're all over the 50 states. There's over 19,500 teachers, and this was written in 2020, so it should be more than that. And it says that over 600 corporations are involved. 600 corporations, trade associations, and labor unions actively support Skills USA on a national level through financial aid, in-kind contributions, and involvement of their people in Skills USA activities. Many more work directly with state associations and local chapters. So they have local chapters in their state. So if you're in XYZ state, connect. I researched, which is my state chapter, which is here in Texas. I'm going to be contacting them to participate with them. But what's interesting is that Skills USA programs include local, regional, state, and national competitions. During the annual national level Skills USA championships, more than 6,500 students compete in 100 hands-on skills and leadership contests. So this is a great program to get your son or daughter involved, or if you're a teacher, to get your students involved in, to build their trade skills, personal skills, and also leadership skills, which is pretty awesome. It says Skills USA programs also help to establish industry standards for job skill training in the classroom, and is cited as a successful model of employer-driven youth development training program by the U.S. Department of Labor. So, again, kudos to Skills USA, to the leadership who's handling this, to the teachers who participate, to all the students who participate. So if you're a student or a participant or teacher of Skills USA, please share this video with potential students, people who haven't participated, and even with people who are in business or corporations, so we can also participate with Skills USA and empower these students. I wish I would have known about this when I was a young man, and to also have had my children participate in something like this. So again, this program is for everybody, from a young man, young woman, teenager, high school student, college student, entrepreneur, or if you're looking to be in business or just to get some life skills. I think this program is designed with love and respect, having all of you in mind, and all of your kids, children, business partners, nephews, your students, because at the end of the day, it's to empower each other to lead to become a better person in business, in the workforce, and also to create a better society, not only in the United States, in our local state, which is Texas. I come from California, but been in Texas almost 27 years. And this is something, it's a national program, but it can also evolve to something international, or you create something similar to this. But you can take Daniel Esquivel's 4 tips, which I shared with you at the beginning. He said, number 1, play the game, even if you don't have your toolbox. Go all in with what you have. Number 2 is ask for help, borrow tools, borrow knowledge. Use this podcast as part of that borrowed knowledge or shared knowledge, so that to empower you, and also be creative with what you have, your skills, your ideas, your imagination. And then number 4 is never, ever, ever give up. And if you haven't reached out to Skills USA, let's do that together. I'm going to do it personally. So this is a special plug for all of you. I'm looking forward to meeting people who are involved. I'll probably be reporting a podcast about this in the future, because thanks to that conversation that I had with Mr. Daniel Esquivel Jr. about his life, it led to the topic of don't forget your toolbox. And I said, bro, I'm going to make a podcast sharing your story. So I'm showcasing him today. He's an animal lover. He's a grandfather. He has a beautiful daughter. And, it's amazing because we've been friends for so many years. And I said, hey, which is the picture you want to come out? And he has several nice pictures as a businessman, but I know he's an animal lover. He said, I want this picture to be featured with a horse. And it was very interesting because he said that this horse was in care of a young person, that he said that he couldn't control the horse, and he was no expert. He was able to grab that horse, and I guess out of his heart or that good connection, was able to, have this horse in his hand. And you notice, nice and calm, and was able to take this lovely picture. But then I posted the picture of the toolbox so that you don't forget your toolbox. And if you do forget the toolbox, remember these 4 success tips that he gave us. And congratulations to Vika, to Skills USA, for all that you've done in the last, imagine from 1965 to the present. That's almost 60 years, pretty amazing. I'm 50 years young, and so that means an extra 10 years above that. That's pretty awesome. Thank you for your hard work that you've done to, make a dent or an imprint in these students who are now successful members of our society. And also they are mentors, I'm sure, and coaches of other people that they're going to be leading to this organization. But what is Daniel Esquivel's 4 tips as a mature man at 63? Well, like I said, he has transitioned from being an entrepreneur to being a photographer, animal lover, and also, he's a bodyguard now. Very interesting. He is a high-rated bodyguard, and he just had got 2 brand new positions, and I'm very proud of him. So congratulations, my brother. But his new advice, and what words of advice can you give us now? Okay, that was his 18 years experience, the 4 tips. Now he gave me his 4 tips as a grown man, a mature man. He said, number 1, he goes, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. Number 2, pick yourself up after adversity. If you haven't been hit with adversity, you will be hit by adversity. It's just a matter of time, and it's not wishing anybody ill. It's just life. And we've seen each other go through adversities. I mean, I like that he said, pick yourself up after adversity. And number 3, talk to God and pray. And number 4, he said, never, ever give up. So his first 4 tips when he forgot his toolbox was, let's repeat it, go all in with what you got, play the game. Number two, ask for help and borrow the tools that you need to succeed, either in life or business or any area of your life. Number three, use your creativity. And number four, never ever give up. And then that was when he was 18 years of age, when he was competing, and he won second place. And then now as a mature man, he said, number one, you can do anything you want. Two, pick yourself up after adversity. Three, talk to God and pray, which I think is very good wisdom. And number four, never ever give up. So I want to thank you all for connecting with us with Bruce Talks Podcast and Bruce Talks Podcast en Español. We're going to be recording this episode in Spanish as well. Wherever you are around the world, I want to thank you for connecting with us. Please share with other people that you love and respect. This program this episode was made with out of love and respect to all of you. I want to thank you and welcome you to your home with Bruce Talks Podcast and Bruce Talks Podcast en Español. If you haven't done so, please make sure that you like our episode, share, subscribe, and comment what you take away from this. And if you are a Skills USA member or were part of VICA in the past, please share your story with us. And also, I want to make a little commercial. I'm opening up my calendar now, so please connect, where I'm going to be doing some coaching sessions with people. And if you're interested in getting coached in your personal life or business, again, this is Bruce Villarreal, speaker, businessman, and also transformer of lives. And I want to help you in your personal life and in your business life to take you to the next level. Thank you for connecting. God bless. And I'll be seeing you in the Spanish episode of Bruce Talks Podcast en Español. Thank you for connecting.